Disclaimer. The following podcast is not sponsored by the WWE or AEW, nor is it a direct product of either company. The opinions, views, and thoughts discussed here are those solely of the participants and do not reflect the thoughts, views, or opinions of the WWE/AEW, its staff, talent, affiliates, or management. The following podcast is for mature audiences and is for entertainment purposes only. Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Bevil podcast. We're on episode 6. Oh, gotta get the thumb in there. 6. As you can see, today we have a special guest host. Welcoming back to the show, Miss Evil. My co-host had some things to get done today, so no worries. We're gonna continue on business as usual. Today, strap yourselves in. Last episode was really short. This one, don't know yet. Could go on for a while. So get yourself a snack, settle in, because we're going to be talking for a little bit.
Snacks.
So anyway, the big thing that has just hit headlines as of right now is that Jon Moxley has put himself into rehab for alcoholism, and I'm very happy to say that I'm super proud that he's taken that step to take care of himself. That's really good to, when you realize that you have a problem and you're doing whatever it takes to call attention to it and fix it. And I think it's a really brave move on his part, being that he announced it publicly. Sometimes things like that, they're kept hush. Like, full well they could have easily just, oh, he got injured and he'll be gone for a couple weeks. But it's out there. It's public knowledge now.
Well, actually, Tony Khan's the one that announced it. He didn't.
Well, I mean,
he gave Tony permission.
I'm sure you're right. I'm sure he gave the okay. I don't think Tony Khan would have just blasted arguably one of his top guys like that. So I think. Go ahead.
I was going to say I'm happy that he recognized that he had a problem and he's doing what he needs to do to get himself back to being himself.
Sure.
Aside from wrestling, he just had a daughter not too long ago with Renee. She's going to need him. I'm sure Renee needs him. He's got a family aside from work too. But also by the same time, still got to get yourself together to go to work.
Oh yeah. I mean, and one of the things is that it's easy to just be like, hey, look, I'll be fine. Things will be okay. I've got this on my own. It's like I said, it takes a fair amount of bravery and a fair amount of self-recognition to sit there and go, hey, I got a problem. I need to get this fixed. That's pretty much like with, I'm going to touch on this really fast. That's pretty much like what's going on with Cody Rhodes at the moment. Cody has said several times to his wife, Brandy, and he's even said to Tony Khan, hey, starting to catch up with me a bit, but I kind of feel like in a way that, the wrestling business is selfish.
Can be.
And, I feel like there was a bit of, I'll just call it what it is. I feel like there was a bit of selfishness on Tony Khan's part, to where he was like, oh, let's get through this and let's see what you got going on in the next couple weeks. Don't make any rash decisions. I mean, I feel
But
like
she can't necessarily say that though either, because you don't know the discussions him and Tony Khan might have had personally.
well, no, we
With
saw the discussion that he had with Tony, and he basically told Tony that he thought it was time to hang it up, or at least to not to hang it up, but to at least take a step back.
no, I mean like prior. It usually with stuff like this, it takes a couple months to actually realize that you have a problem. Maybe, he's had discussions with Tony before, he wasn't ready to go yet. You got to do it on your timing.
Well, I mean, obviously he brought it up to him, and he said, I think I'd like to. I mean, for God's sake, Cody, they just had a baby, and he has been complaining about back problems for quite a while now.
Not to cut you off, but this goes back to old school, like wrestling, like even go back to the 80s and 70s. Their bodies don't have time to heal and cope the way that they should, because they are constantly always on the go and doing something.
Oh yeah.
And so they get used to masking things by either drinking, drugs. I mean, it's not that it's smiled upon, but that's what they've had to do to get their bodies. Hey, we have another show. We have another show. We have another show. I don't have time to heal. I have to do this.
Well, it's I don't. It's not that. It's not that Iron Man age anymore. It's not. It's not that. Hey, we've got 800 shows a year or whatever. I'm embellishing, obviously, but it. I don't feel like wrestlers today can even compare themselves to wrestlers back in the day, like guys like Mark Calloway and Shawn Michaels and Paul Levesque. I'm using all their real names. You guys know who they are: Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. Adam Copeland, Edge. But anyway, like I don't feel like wrestlers today can compare themselves to guys like that, because
I feel to a certain extent that they can.
uh,
The timing might be different, and they might have more options, I guess you can say.
no,
If that
because
makes any sense.
well, I mean,
As far
guys,
as like getting help, but also by the same thing, you're still in the same time away on the road as what you were then as well.
yeah, but I feel like Undertaker, Mark Calloway was one of the greatest examples. It didn't matter if his hip was bothering him, his leg was bothering him. Uh, uh, for God's sake, the man got set on fire, and he went out, doused himself in water bottles, and continued the match. Or not continued, but he had to wait his turn. He was in an elimination chamber match. He didn't just get to go in and fucking start wrestling. He had to wait.
Yeah.
So that right there is a testament to his character, that he was like, hey, it doesn't matter. The boots are on, the coat's on, the hat's on. It's time to be on. Like
it
I
also
feel
depends.
like today, if a wrestler had an ouchie or an ooey or a boo boo, they could walk up to Vince and go, "Hey man, I'm gonna take some time."
But it depends on the person's work ethic. Each person is different too.
I mean, I'm sure, but I just I feel like guys like Cody and Moxley. I'll say Moxley too. I feel like they now in Moxley's case, obviously, I wouldn't say that he deserves the break. If he is struggling badly with alcoholism, then he needs the break. On the other hand, though, I would say that Cody deserves a break. Cody breaks his ass just like anybody else. He's been pivotal in AEW's success, and he hasn't stopped since AEW has kicked off. And like I said, now he's a new time father. The guy doesn't want to be beat up all the time. He wants to be somewhat comfortable. He wants to be home. He wants to be And I don't feel like that's necessarily a bad thing, but I do see what you're saying when you say that, he's in that position to where you know what you signed up for, guy. You can't just take time off. But I do think there needs to be a level of respect there to where it's like, bro, you've busted your ass for me. Take some time. Come back. Get healthy.
Well, I can't speak on Tony Khan's behalf, but from what I've seen, he seems to be a pretty decent, I'll say,
I know.
guy to work for, and I'm sure he'd be willing to work with any of his talent if they came to him with any kind of issues like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's one thing if you were scheduled to be, at a pay-per-view or something like that, instead of coming to him 30 minutes, hey, I'm taking the day off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't
you
know.
You
I
gotta
don't
kind
know.
of plan around it, though.
I don't
too.
know anybody who would do that. You'd be out of a job before you could blink. I don't care who you are, unless you had that level of rapport with the boss. I don't know anybody who could walk up to a boss and be like, "Hey, yo, I know I'm supposed to wrestle in the next 20 minutes, but I'm not feeling it."
Mm-hmm.
You know. I mean, if you're there, you're there. Like I said though, I feel like Cody has earned a break.
Oh, yes.
Most definitely. And but not getting too deep into all of that, because like I said, there is a lot I want to cover today. All in all, when it comes down to it, again, very proud of Moxley for recognizing and taking this step. Good luck to you, sir. Hope all is well. Now, before we totally move away from the whole Moxley thing, do you think now, because there has been a lot of talk in saying that Moxley's performance has suffered recently and as of late, like he's not the same Moxley. He doesn't have that same, it's very much a come in, walk through the crowd, get in the ring, wrestle for a few minutes, walk back out type of thing. Like, and, do you think it's because of that, or maybe his head's not just, it's just not there? Have you noticed anything? Do you think,
I have, and I'm not trying to make a comparison here, but if you go back and look at Jeff Hardy when he was having all of his issues,
Yeah.
you can kind of see a little bit of similarity between how Jeff was carrying himself to me to the way that Mox is carrying himself now. Like, if you look at his antics and just his, I guess, overall demeanor, you can say,
Yeah.
you can see it in his face, you can see it in the way he walks, the way that he's been carrying himself.
I think with Jeff though it was excuse me. I think with Jeff though it was blatantly more obvious. I mean, let's take you back to the whole,
I think Jeff had some more issues as opposed to just one thing, and you can tell.
Sure.
But I'm just saying, even though with Moxley, even though with him it seems to be just drinking, but if you look at their antics, they still have quite a bit of deal similarity, I would say.
Well, it's like I said though, I don't think it was as noticeable, at least on my end, maybe, because like I said, if we take you back to the whole debacle that Jeff Hardy had with Sting, where Sting tried his ass off to carry that match, and when it just came to a point to where fucking Eric Bischoff had to run out and basically go pin him, take it home, get the fuck out of there. Like, there hasn't been anything that visible or that noticeable with Moxley. Although, like I said, the only thing that is visible is that his match times have been shorter.
Well, like I said, he doesn't have. I don't know his issues. I can't say to the same extent as Jeff's. But what I can say is he has said for himself that he's having an issue drinking. Jeff has admitted to drinking and other stuff that I'm not going to go into detail about. I'm not going to put any more of that man's personal business out there than what I need to. The public already knows way too much. But like I said, with to me, the attitudes are similar. Like, I can see it. I honestly didn't know he had a drinking issue.
No, neither did I.
I thought that he might have been losing his smile, quote unquote, is what they say. I thought that he might have been getting tired of it. He just didn't feel like being there anymore, to be honest with you.
I mean, see, I don't. You never really know what brings on that sort of thing within someone. Like, to me, I feel like, Moxley came into AEW, and I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, please, guys, I'm begging you at this point, if you are listening, leave some comments. Let us know what you think. I think at this point, Moxley came into AEW thinking, I've got a brand new start, fresh new platform, and I think he was expecting his star to be bigger. Sorry about that. Computer shut off. I think he was expecting his star to be a little bit bigger than it is. And
Meaning like he would come in and I guess have
have
more of
the
a higher rank on a card as opposed to what he does now.
have the belt
I was gonna say the same thing. I
like
agree with you. To that too.
Like, let's be honest, the the immediate face, or should I say faces, of that company were Cody and Chris Jericho.
And I don't want to say like Moxley got spoiled, but I think he got used to being on that Shield chair. If I'm making any sense to you, like I'm a member of this.
I'm a member.
My
I'm a
ranking
member.
is a little. You know what I mean?
I'm a member of a top faction. I should be,
You. I'm sure you get what I'm saying.
Like, don't get us wrong here. Like, we are fans of Jon Moxley, but we're just trying to call things as we see him. I honestly think, like I said, that Moxley felt like, or still feels like, his star is a little bit bigger than it is. And there's been a lot of people that have been bitching and complaining, and there's always going to be people who bitch and complain. But there's been a lot of people who've been bitching and complaining and saying that he is and I don't, it's really harsh, but a lot of people have been saying that he is a washed out knockoff Stone Cold. And I don't see it. Like, Stone Cold was Stone Cold.
I think they're saying that now potentially because of his I really don't care attitude, which is what we've been getting.
Well, I mean,
with the way that he's been carrying himself.
Stone Cold never didn't care. That was all his gimmick. Stone Cold very much cared. He cared a lot. Like, he was all about the business. Like, I feel like with if what they're trying to compare it to is now Moxley has been 95% promo, 5% match. Which for a while, respectfully, that's what Stone Cold was having to do. He was having to cut promos because of his knees. He couldn't wrestle. So
maybe he's been cutting promos like that now because of his issue.
Maybe. I don't know.
And as far as like like I was saying with him used to being in that big boy chair is what I'll call it, like I just referred to. You gotta figure too. You're in the same company with Sting. You're in the same company with people who have been around quite a bit longer than you.
Mm-hmm.
They've paid their dues a little bit longer than you. Granted, now you are a veteran, and I'm not taking that away from him because he's paid his dues.
He has. He's been there a while.
But there's also people who have been doing it longer than you.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Do you ever feel like there's that tinge of like, Kenny Omega, for instance? I mean, Omega's, he's got his stripes as well. He's been in the business, but, I mean, do you ever think that maybe there's like why is he your guy? Like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's jealousy, and maybe
like a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, a chip more so. Like I said, like, these are just our opinions. We're not trying to speak for anybody. And I don't know. I don't know. I wonder what it could be that would cause him to go down that road. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not inside the man's head. Who knows? It could be anything.
Don't know.
Don't know.
But I do wish him the best. I do. Hopefully he'll get better soon.
Absolutely. So, we touched on it a little bit in the last episode. I won't go too deep in it again because I'm trying to keep things moving, but it would be good to get a fresh perspective here.
I wasn't
So,
here, my dear.
What?
I said I wasn't here, my dear.
Yeah. So obviously, if you have Instagram and you've been paying attention to Instagram, Matt Hardy has been posting a lot about Wyndham Rotunda, and recently he posted a picture of himself and Bo Dallas. I mean, do you think, honestly, and we'll, like I said, we won't go too deep. Do you think, honestly, at this point, that it's becoming yet another CM Punk situation to where it's becoming painfully and blatantly obvious that that is where Wyndham is going to end up?
Possibly, but not on Tony Khan's end. I would say it's more so them privately doing along with their own demeanor.
So,
If that makes any sense to you.
doing what they can within their means, but without coming right out and saying it?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, are you a believer?
Am I a believer?
Are you a believer?
Yeah. I like, but I
you
like.
gotta be a believer.
I don't have to be anything.
You gotta be a believer. You can't follow the buzzards and not be a believer at the same time.
I follow.
Leave.
Anyway, no, I mean, I have said that I would like to see, I would like to see Bo and, I keep wanting to call him Bray. I would like to see Bo and Wyndham do something together. I think it would be really cool, and I don't see why they couldn't 100% pull it off in AEW.
Well, with Moxley going away now would be an opportune time to do something.
Exactly. Well, tonight it is Wednesday. I lost track of my days.
At 8 o'clock.
So who knows? Maybe 2 hours from now, the world might finally get put at ease, and we might finally see the debut of Wyndham Rotunda on AEW Dynamite.
I hope he does, but I'm not going to get excited.
No, I hope he does too. And, like I said, I mean, at this point, they could be saving him for Full Gear, which is, again, it's on the 13th, which is 10 days from now.
Not to mention, not to bring Cody back up too and cut you off, but if with Moxley being out now and Cody potentially because of his back, it would be an opportune time to have something like that to grab everybody's attention.
It would be very smart. It would be very good. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we are in agreement at this point. Like I said, it's painfully obvious at this point that he's going to end up on AEW. It's just a matter of when.
I was going to say, not to mention too, him and Matt Hardy have history.
Right.
So why would I don't see any other reason why Matt would be dropping things like that.
I don't either. I think it's definitely not. It's not random at all. It's not random at all. I mean, CM Punk dropped hints about Bryan Danielson, and none of that came from Matt Hardy. So CM Punk's not dropping hints about Wyndham. Jungle Boy's not dropping hints about Wyndham. Fucking Luchasaurus or Penta, Cody. Matt is, though, you know, and like you said, him and Matt have history, so yeah, it's not hard to put two and two together there. You know, I just think, like I said, at this point, it's more so a matter of when. When is it going to happen?
Tony Khan might be signed for everything, but you know, it's whatever, I suppose.
It is what it is. It's like I said, I've gone on record in saying that I hope they don't drag it out too long.
The only thing I will say is that if he does go to AEW, I love to see him work with Abaddon. That's what I have said before.
I mean, like I said, if he's doing this whole cult thing, obviously a cult is multiple people. Aesthetically wise, she would fit his whole dark persona thing. Chemistry wise, you never know. I mean,
but to me, it could give a whole new spin-off on the whole Sister Abigail thing, like how you have with.
It could, but I don't think
as I guess like a reformed type of form of Sister Abigail.
It could, but
you know what I mean?
I don't think at this point he's gonna. I think, like I said, at this point, wrestling fans need to come to grips with the fact that the Fiend, following the Buzzards, Sister Abigail, the Wyatt family, all that stuff, it's over. It's done.
There's also a part of me too. I don't want to say it's like a conspiracy theory of mine, but when he was doing Firefly Funhouse with WWE, he wanted to betray his own characters, and they wouldn't let him. So who's to say this Cult of Wyndham thing isn't him portraying different cult characters himself?
Well, because so as we've found out that the Firefly Funhouse and the Fiend character, the rights to that character are owned by WWE, which fucking sucks.
But what I'm saying is like, because he's doing the Cult of Wyndham now, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to betray other characters himself when he was with them. So who's to say that the cult that he is bringing with him wherever he goes isn't himself betraying these different people?
I mean, possibly.
Do you understand what I'm saying now?
Possibly, right. And well, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, that even if you think about that really quickly, you know, that just goes to show his creativity. He wanted to be Husky Harris. What, that was the pig, right? Husky Harris.
No, Husky Harris was
Husky
back in NXT.
Oh, sorry.
That's going way back.
My bad. Here. Yeah, right. Husky Harris was his.
I gave you an E for effort.
Yeah, whatever. Husky Harris was his NXT persona. My bad. I forgot. What was the name of the damn pig? His pig character on Firefly Funhouse.
This is gonna look bad at me, but to be honest, I don't even remember. You can look it up real quick. But so from what I saw, though, they were actually making a pig mask. For him.
They were.
Which is what, like I just told you, leads me to believe that he's going to be betraying these different characters himself.
Right. And who knows, he might.
Did you find it?
Looking.
I think I sent you a link to something too the other day.
What the hell is this damn pig's name? Huskus. So I that's where I got Husky from. So it was Huskus the pig. Sorry guys, that took way too long. So they had come up with a Huskus mask, and again,
which mind you, it was from the same person who made
the Fiend mask, right? And like I said, I have to 100% think that WWE creative had nothing to do with that. Okay, they you cannot tell me that they had that much input on the Fiend character, that they had the idea for the match. They did. There's no way they did. Their fucking creative doesn't have a creative bone in their body. So,
from what I understand and from what I've read, Bray, I'll call him Bray. I've always called him Bray, even though he has been going by his real name now. But he came up with that idea himself, and he brought it to them.
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he did. I don't doubt that at all. But again, all that aside, basically, who knows? Tonight might be the night. Tonight might be the night that we finally get Wyndham. We figure out, some small thing about this cult of Wyndham where he plans to take this new character, or this new gimmick. And I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm being impatient, but I really hope they don't drag it out too long. Moving on from that. Now, a name that everybody is familiar with. You can't say this guy's name without knowing who he is.
Hulk Hogan.
Yes, but no. Vince Russo. Apparently, he has a podcast as well. And I'm not going to steal from his podcast or anything like that. I'm sourcing him and referencing him. A podcast that he recently did. This guy, man, has said a lot of things that have been right on par with the way that I feel about the current state of WWE. He mentioned that he 100% feels and believes that Vince needs to hang it up. It's time for the old man to retire. I am 100% on board with that. And he was saying, he was like, bro, you're literally killing everything around you. Everything you touch, you're destroying. And
I have a mouthful to respond to you.
He ain't wrong. I mean, he's not wrong at all. He's totally right. He, respectfully, NXT had to fall into someone's hands because of what happened to Triple H with the health scare. Which, by the way, now they're saying that apparently Shawn Michaels is supposed to step up and run that show. If so, good luck, Shawn. That's all I can say, man. Good luck. But no, this is just one of the things that I'll be touching on from his podcast. Like I said, I'm not stealing from him. I'm just merely agreeing with him because it's stuff that I've said and I strongly believe. Old man, you're done. You're done. You're done, son. Give it up. It's over. It's over.
Now, my perspective, Vince Russo started writing in 1992.
Yeah.
Okay. Vince Russo has very much Attitude Era, old school. Some won't call it old school, but for me, I call it old school because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, sure.
I was born in 89.
Yeah.
He's got that mentality.
Yep.
From Attitude Era-ish, and which is what, like I was saying before with you, he's used to writing and thinking.
Yeah.
I guess for that era.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the way that the world is now that we live in, if you were to pull off something like that, I don't think too many people would be receptive of it. I would be receptive of it. I damn sure would be. That's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
I'm not used to, all the sugarcoating, everything, millennial bullcrap that they have out now.
Right.
So I feel that's probably one reason why he does disagree with everything that is going on creatively.
Yeah.
Getting tongue-tied. Creatively of what they have going on right now.
Sure.
As far as NXT goes, I mean, to me, Triple H getting sick was their downfall. They were going so good.
They were.
They were going better than Raw and SmackDown.
Yep.
And that created heat backstage. I think that if Triple H would have stayed with NXT, they'd be fine.
Oh, they would have.
There was times to where I was only watching NXT, and you know this firsthand. I wouldn't even watch Raw or SmackDown. I was watching NXT every single week. And I would say, if Shawn Michaels does start picking it up, I honestly think that they would do pretty good. With the experience and how much he's been around, I think that they would do a pretty decent job with him.
Sure. No, absolutely. Triple H and Shawn are very much cut from the same cloth.
No, I would say not necessarily the same, but very, very close. If you look at their technical skills and abilities.
So wrestling, they are cut from the same cloth. Their minds, mentally, yes. Cut from the same cloth in other ways, no. But wrestling mind wise, yes.
But as far as Vince saying, Vince Russo, saying that, Vince needs to hang it up, I think he does. I'm not gonna lie. I agree with him. I do think he does. Because to me, even in this day and age, if you had Hunter, Triple H, Paul, whichever name you want to refer to him as, you saw what he took NXT to. Imagine what he can take the whole entire company to.
Now you see, like, that is. Do I think it's possible? Sure. You still got Stephanie and Shane. Now, I think it's really going to be up to those two to corral the old bull, so to speak, and take his ass out to pasture. And like I said, be like, Dad, it's time.
I think knowing Vince McMahon, though, he seems to be a very pride and boastful person.
Oh, he's not. I don't think he's not going down.
That's what I'm saying. He's just not going to sit and lay down for anybody.
No, he's not. He's not going down without a fight, and he's not. It will literally be with him until he croaks. Like, no.
Until he passes away, I would say, not croaks.
Same difference. No, he's and that's been evident by the fact that he's still making fucking decisions.
I would say, I think even now, like, he's in his late 70s.
Yeah, Vince is
I know he's in his 70s. I think he's in his late 70s.
Let's find out. So, Vince McMahon.
Enter elevator music here.
Vince is currently 76 years old.
Told ya.
So, yeah.
And still work. I gotta give him some kudos, though, because I know if I was 76 years old, I would not be working full time, dealing with all that stress and everything else. I would be laying around on my couch, living it up. I done did all my business. No one's
doubting the guy's work ethic. The work ethic has always been there. The guy, for God's sake, there's been countless interviews that have been done basically saying, Vince doesn't sleep. Or if he does sleep, he sleeps for what'd they say, 2 hours at a time?
A couple of hours.
Yeah. He literally sleeps for a couple hours and then he's back up. For God's sake, yeah, no one's questioning his work ethic, but
I just can only imagine what he does with his health, though, too. Still going full time like that and moving around.
Come on now. It doesn't matter how hard you work. You can work hard and still deliver a shitty product. For the better part of, a couple years, the product has suffered badly.
And I think, to be honest with you too, I think Vince is probably at his wit's end. I guess you can say with everything, he's not sure what to do with everything anymore because of him already going through so many different eras and phases with the company. Still trying to keep it new and relevant, trying to keep
Relevant.
people.
Oh, relevant. Yeah, relevant.
You know what I meant.
I know what you meant.
But trying to, I guess, keep it new and exciting for some people while still, I guess, catering to the generation of people that we have today.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said. I mean, nobody's questioning his work ethic. Nobody's saying that he doesn't work hard. He does, and he most certainly has. Look, okay, it's easy for know nothings like you and I to sit there and go, "You need to retire."
I'm not, saying, bro, you need to retire. You suck at what you do now. Obviously, he's good at what he does. Otherwise, he wouldn't be where he is now. You know what I mean?
But it kind of is like you suck at what you do now. Like there's, it's a real touchy, fine, okay. So we have a friend who likes to sit there and go, "Oh, these slobs like to talk all this shit. They've never laced up a pair of boots or got into a ring." No, I'm not saying that I have, and she's not saying that she has. But it's like I said, yes, I understand that point too. We've never done what he's done. We've never done what his talent has done. But it goes back to the old saying, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and waddles like a fucking duck, it's a duck. Your product lately has been shit, and it has been shit because of you.
That's what I'm saying. I think that he's gotten to his wit's end after doing it for so long. He doesn't know what else to do.
I don't know if it's wit's end. I think it's stubbornness.
I'm sure that too.
I mean, he inherited the company from his. Now take a look at that, right? He inherited the company from his father. It wasn't always his company. He made changes to it. I'm sure his father was very structured and had things the way he wanted it to be. Why can't Vince Jr. be open to it? Hey, Vince, yo.
Because I can't speak for him. I don't know what goes through his mind, but maybe in the back of his mind, this is my creation to a certain extent. I evolved it. I evolved it to what it is now.
Sure.
I don't want to see what I evolved become a downfall.
But
you know what I mean?
But how?
I guess he's ultimately out. He's afraid or scared in some sort of way to hand it over because of everything that he has put into it.
I guess at this point, how could it possibly get worse? Without them fucking coming out doing handstands and scooting across the ring on their asses. I don't know how it could get much worse.
You get free pancakes out of New Day's crotch.
Fucking. And we'll talk about that too. Don't think I'm letting them
pancakes
off the fucking
or the
hook.
New Day's crotch.
Just New Day. But yeah, honestly, dude, I don't understand how he could how he could possibly be afraid of it getting much worse. I don't think it can get much worse at this point unless
things can always get worse.
Unless he's still running it. Because we touched on I believe it was episode 3. If you haven't seen episode 3, go watch episode 3. But I think we said, there is not one thing that happens in that damn company that doesn't go through Vince. So you can't tell me that it's not Vince's fault. It is 100% Vince's fault.
I'm not saying that it's not his fault.
No, I'm just saying. So I don't know. I think honestly at this point, and this is being fucking generous, man. Let the man have one last WrestleMania. Give him one last WrestleMania, and then be like, okay, Pop, it's time to to enjoy that big old, wrestling ring in the sky. You did what you
trying to kill the poor guy.
No, I'm not gonna kill him, but
go join the wrestling ring in the sky.
Just fucking, it's time for you to, just move along.
Like I said,
go on.
Personally, for me, I would honestly love to see him eventually hand it over to Triple H. I think he could do so much good with that. And I
don't see why he wouldn't trust his son-in-law. His you gotta remember, at the end of the look, man, fucking.
I need to get you a gavel.
Yes, I want a gavel. No, fucking. You've got to remember, at the end of the day, Paul is talent. He's been there. He's done that.
Why do you think NXT was doing so good?
Exactly.
He's been on both sides of the spectrum.
And that is why, and nobody can tell me any different, that fucking AEW is doing so well. It is wrestlers putting on wrestling for wrestlers. Does that make sense? Wrestling by wrestlers.
Well, not to compare the two, but I think...
is what I meant to say.
Not to compare the two, but I think, AEW has kind of Cody as what WWE has Triple H.
Well, Cody and Chris.
You know what I mean? They both have that leeway. You have people in both companies who have worked both sides of everything, in front of people and then behind the scenes.
Okay, so let me put it to you this way, obviously in a way that makes more coherent sense. Okay, yeah, Vince, you've you've put the boots on, you've put your little cut-off shirt on, and you've wrestled some matches.
We appreciate you, we thank you, but
you're not a fucking wrestler. You're not a wrestler. Fucking, you're not. You're not a wrestler. Give it to somebody who was one of your top talents. Have a little faith, man. Like, look, even if he just stepped down from making the final say, I mean, you're always going to be Vince. No one's ever going to be like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here." No, you're fucking Vince McMahon, bro. We get it.
I feel like people are always going to give him credit. I mean,
sure, he's always going to have credit. He's always going to have his presence will always be felt. But if you want to save your product,
please stop.
Please, yeah, just go. Like, just we got it, man. Like, it's fucking frustrating. It's frustrating, and yeah. So that's that. And the other thing that I wanted to touch on that I completely and totally agree with is, Vince and his guest said that we're already, 2 weeks past the draft, and the current Raw roster is shit. There is no one there.
But going back to what we just said, does that surprise you with everything else going on?
No, it doesn't surprise me, but it's like, the draft is supposed to open up new possibilities for new storylines, new angles,
I would say there's probably only about maybe like a good handful of people in there that interest me.
The point that they made is that there's no one there who has that over-the-top feel. Now, I believe Randy Orton is still on Raw, correct?
I believe so.
Randy Orton's still on Raw. Edge is still on Raw. AJ, yeah, AJ and Omos.
I
Well,
believe so.
we're just talking about AJ here. Um, but okay, the three guys that you have that possibly could be over the hill are, yeah, or are Randy, Edge, and AJ Styles. Okay, other than that, I mean, like I said, and I catch a lot of fucking hate from this one over here that oh, I'm a hater. You're a hater on the New Day. You're goddamn right.
Don't you dare be sour.
I am sour and I will be sour.
Stop being a sour patch
Freaking-
kid, you warhead.
Freaking I once again I agree. Biggie is he's trying his best, dude, but is he the face of the company? No, he's not. Sorry.
See, that's because you didn't eat your bootios this morning.
I wouldn't eat bootios even if you paid me.
You know when I eat my bootios.
Clown shit. It's clown shit. It's clown shit. Fucking
I eat a lot of bootios for you, baby.
yeah. They made one of the absolute most cornball people in the fucking company the King of the Ring. They gave someone the opportunity to be even more cringy than he is now.
Because Nikki ASH isn't cringy?
But she's not Queen of the Ring. And she... Now, yeah, Nikki... We'll talk about Nikki, too. Because... Okay, quick side note. They also said, and I completely agree with this, I would say that Nikki and Xavier, I don't give a fuck if he's King of the Ring, by the way. They said that Nikki is pretty much taking up space at this point.
I've said numerous times, and I'll say it again, I loved Nikki when she was in Sanity. Or did you not pay any attention to her then?
No, I didn't. And
That's sad.
honestly, I haven't paid any attention to her, period, because I've always thought that she was cringy. And this whole...
Go back and watch her matches.
Her matches.
Her matches. When she was in
Too many
Sanity.
napkins. Yeah, her matches. Go on.
Her matches.
Uh-huh.
Matches.
Her matches on.
Matches, hon.
Yeah.
I'm from Baltimore, okay?
But, so, yeah, no, I've always thought that she was cringy, and this whole almost a superhero, like, you could call her Nikki F.
What?
Did you change your clothes?
Possibly I have magical powers.
Anyway, getting back to talking about Nikki ASH, they should probably call her Nikki Unemployed. As I was saying before, I was so rudely cut off. Goddamn technical difficulties again, but it's
Don't know
alright.
how that happened.
It's alright, we're gonna work through it. Yeah, without doubt, Nikki is probably one of the most cringiest people that the WWE has on their roster right now. And you know what? With all the recent cuts that have just been made, why wasn't she on that list? Can you tell me? Because
She gets over with the fans.
who?
Kids love her.
I think
Is all I can say
the
about
only
that.
people that she's getting over with are Rhea's fans. because she's with Rhea.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, because her fan base and then Nikki's fan base are two completely different groups of people. You got people who look like me. You know, I'm Rhea Ripley fan, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got... It's two completely different cliques.
If you want to call it a clique, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've never been a fan of Nikki. Sorry if you are. I don't see the appeal. She's not good on the mic. I don't think she's a very good in-ring talent either. But you know what?
But like I told you before, though, I loved Nikki when she was in Sanity.
Yeah, I mean, you said that, and like I said, I'm sure at one point in time, back when WWE wasn't trying to royally fuck up every single thing they touched, I'm sure she was decent, and but as of right now, she's corny. And to touch on what I was saying before, I completely agree with what Vince Russo said, that she's taking up character space at this point. I don't think she's relevant. I don't think she's... Thank God they took the women's title off of her. And decided, I mean, okay, it's cool that they decided to keep her in the championship spectrum, but homegirl, you are not you are not a worthy women's champion. I'm sorry. I think
they keep giving characters like that too. They seem to tend to be pretty popular these days because of the PG rating.
Yeah, but
to me, they're catering more for kids these days than what they are for like the old school people. I guess you can say, like myself and you.
Yeah, but you know the saying, if you polish a turd, it's still a turd. Like they went from her, tag teaming and being up fucking Alexa Bliss's ass, which actually wasn't too terrible, okay? And then all of a sudden you try to give her own identity, and almost a superhero is what you come up with.
Well, it's the same generation that give kids trophies for just participating.
Well, she's definitely a participation trophy winning ass motherfucker, that's for sure. Because at this point, like I said, that's all she's really doing. Like, I don't think I cringe harder than listening to her or Xavier Woods cut a promo. And
sourness.
Sourness
all up in this room right now.
Big time. And it's not going to change until they fire him. Which, like I said...
That's not going to happen.
Well, you know what? It's not going to happen as long as fucking the New Day is relevant. And like I said...
They're not going anywhere anytime soon. They've been relevant for years now.
Yeah, well, that's a damn shame.
The sad thing is I think they've kept New Day around longer than what they did S.H.I.E.L.D. when S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually together. S.H.I.E.L.D. was only relevant, together for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Before they decided to disband all of them.
Well, I mean, okay. And that's because that is 3 guys who could most definitely survive on their own.
But they still work together as a stable.
Yeah, they work together as a staple, but dude, fucking Woods isn't doing anything by himself. He's still stuck up Kofi's ass. And
I still think that they're trying to put them two together as a tag team and kind of put Big E all the way over here now and let Big E do his own thing, but still have Kofi and Xavier kind of still together in an aspect.
Well, that's...
Pushing Kofi more than the other two. I mean, not Kofi, Big E.
That's, Big E, like I said, do I think he's more than capable of standing on his own? Yes. Do I think that Kofi is more than capable of standing on his own? Obviously.
Well, he was single before he was with The New Day.
Exactly right. You know, the fact of the matter is that I honestly think if they stuck Xavier by himself, he would be banished to lower to mid card. He's
That I could agree with you.
he's nothing without Kofi. He's nothing without Big E. And man, I tell you what, I may have said it earlier. I am sick and fucking tired of watching people climb to spots in the WWE that nobody could care less about. Like,
well, the only way they're going to get that people don't care is if people stop watching and buying their product.
I mean, it's like I said. So in that area, man, there's WWE is, I don't want to say that they're safe or that they're protected there, because there has been quite the, outpour of frustration and all that other stuff as far as,
But the fact of the matter is, everybody, they always complain on the internet about something that WWE is doing, but yet they're still watching it every week.
Oh, of course they're going to, because trolls have to eat.
But still, that's not doing them any justice, because technically you're still giving people ratings and money when you're complaining about it.
Well, the
only way that they're going to get the picture is to cut it off.
But here's the deal, right? You know the saying, "Don't feed the troll."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, WWE isn't going to shut down their product because a few people have some negative stuff to say, and that's the thing.
I'm talking about getting everybody groups together in numbers.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
I know it's not, but that's the only way that they are going to get the picture, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that, but what I'm saying to you is that, like I said, trolls got to eat, and as long as they have a platform such as WWE to bitch and complain about, they're going to eat, and they're going to continue to eat. And the same people who are bitching and complaining are going to continue to bitch and complain, because nothing's going to change, because nothing has changed.
It's not going to anytime soon either.
And the last point that I want to talk about before we wrap it up here is I 100% agree, once again, that it's because of Vince. And you know what? Maybe it's not solely because of Vince. Maybe it's because of the kiss asses, the guys who are behind Vince going, "Hey Vince, good job, buddy."
Well, the creative
fucking
still have
who?
A lot to say.
Like
creative rating.
No, the
They still have a lot to say too.
The biggest kiss ass of them all, fucking Bruce Pritchard. That motherfucker, you don't know where Vince's ass ends and his head begins. He is 100% up Vince's ass, and that's never going to change. Like I said, until somebody steps in and basically goes, "Hey, it's time to wake up, old man. You had a hell of a run. You put on, you were, and I stress the word were, you were the top of the mountain for decades. But time's up."
You don't think it is yet, but like I already said,
of course he does. Of course he doesn't.
I don't think he's going to go anywhere anytime soon unless something catastrophic were to happen, which I'm not saying I hope it does, but
he's not going to go anywhere. I told you, he's not going to give up the company willingly. That's not going to happen. I wish they could hold a board meeting take it in this direction and hold a vote of no confidence. Be like, hey.
But do you know how much backlash that would get?
Why? If everybody else sees it, but is too scared to pull the trigger because it's big bad Vince, who's gonna be the one? Like, who's it gonna be? Who's gonna be the one to be like, Vince?
I think people are afraid to overstep their boundaries when it comes to talking to him too.
Well, I mean, you know, once again, as I briefly touched on, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. The new wave of budget cuts that just happened. Once again, you got guys like Keith Lee and Karrion Kross, Nia Jax. I don't think anybody who's come from NXT, with the exception of maybe Finn Balor, Roman Reigns.
Rhea's done really good for herself.
Rhea. But
Charlotte came from NXT.
Okay, but there's been so many that have come to they've either come to the active roster and fallen flat on their face, or they've been buried, or their whole gimmick was flip-flopped on its head, and they crashed and burned.
Well, look at Doudrop, Piper Niven. They decide, but no, they switched her. She was Piper Niven in NXT, and then when they bumped her up, she became Doudrop.
I don't understand this whole Doudrop thing, and that's another thing. Like, poor girl, I really feel like she's
better than me, because to me, I would take that as more of a weight joke, and I'm thick myself. You and more people see what I look like with no clothes on. Just saying, I'm thick myself, but
honestly,
but to me, it's not tasteful.
Honestly, I think that she's going to be the next round of cuts, if not the next after the next. I really don't see. Right now, she's a punching bag. And
they're turning somebody who
they actually
potentially be great, and you're making it.
Well, they fired Eva Marie. She was doing stuff with Eva Marie, and they fired her.
And Eva Marie was also in the middle of going to rehab too for drinking.
I did not know that. That is news to me. But anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you guys think. Please, don't be scared. It's okay. Leave some comments. Talk to us. Let us know what you're thinking. And most importantly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Turn on all notifications so you never miss a video from the Bevil podcast. Usually I do this whole thing, but my co-host isn't here.
I'm a really pretty co-host, thank you.
You are beautiful. So, all that said, we'll talk to you guys soon, yeah?
Peace.